Hello and welcome to another episode of Found It, Fetched It. This week we're going to be talking to Society member Sara Burgess all about CaniCross to Gundog life. We're going to talk to her about her story with her fabulous Gundog Logan and the relationship and journey they've been on together to get to the point where they have recently run a 50k ultra together. How are you today, Sara?
I'm fine, thank you, Jo. Thank you for having me.
I'm really fascinated by this story because I've looked at CaniCross a few times and thought, oh, is that something that I'd like to do? And then I saw your images and your YouTube video and I was like, oh my God, it looks like so much fun. But before we get into all that side of it, can you tell us a little bit about how the relationship between you and Logan started?
Okay, so we are known on the CaniCross scene as Team Logan. And I do have that embroidered on the back of my Gundog jacket as well, because we are very much a team. He came into my life as I was sat at the hairdressers. I found out about a litter of puppies. So he's also my most expensive haircut, because off I went with my best friend who used to ferry dogs, so that she was the sensible person in the room, so I didn't get caught up with all the puppies. And off we went to have a look at him, and he picked me. He saw off all his litter mates, and that was it. I took him home that night. He's very much a family dog. I knew I wanted to do gun dog training with him. I grew up with my father having working dogs, grew up in that environment. And I did have my old Labrador Charlie, who I did want to do gun dog training with, but he was gunshot shy, so we didn't progress that. So doing gun dog and beating is on a bucket list, so it had to be a working dog. And he came into our lives, and boy, what a whirlwind a Spaniel is. Oh, I'm one of these people that said, oh, I've had working dogs all my life, it's fine. And then you get a Spaniel and they learn differently, they're cheeky, they're mischievous. And I've been on a massive learning curve that I could not have done without your group, Jo. Actually, when I found the Ladies Working Dog group, I was overjoyed to join and meet like-minded women who have equally challenging Spaniels. I all of a sudden didn't feel alone. So we've had our ups and downs because of that, and I found CaniCross. Obviously, you can't CaniCross with a dog until they're way over a year old. Through a gun dog class, actually, the associate trainer was there, ran with her dog, and that's where it started. I went home, I looked it up, and I thought it would, and I'm pleased I did. It's given us the right balance between keeping Logan's brain activated, which is the gun dog side, and then the physical side, because he does keep going as well. And you know, making that work, and it does work for us.
So how old is Logan now?
He's 2.5 now.
He's 2.5, so it's been a whirlwind 2.5 years of him teaching you everything you needed to know about Spaniels and more.
Yeah. Well, to the extent that I've only just put in for my foundations, it's taken me that long to get to a position where I thought I could put into the test and be confident that it wasn't just a whim that we managed to pass it, that actually he's trained and he would do it every time I asked him to do something in the foundations level.
It's really fascinating you say that, because like foundations is this like basic starter point, but it is like quite a hard part of what we do within the LWDG, because it's not asking you to just be good at a few things. It's 8 different things. You've got to have them all balanced to have that sort of foundation, as we say. But going back to your CaniCross stuff, when you first sort of like looked it up, because I've looked at it and I said, oh, shall I, shan't I? Was you overwhelmed? Was you put off? What made you think, actually, I am going to go do this?
So really lucky, we've got 3 local groups to us, and the one that the associate gun dog trainer ran with is Bournemouth CaniCross. And I just reached out to them and I asked them, well, what do I need to do? How old does the dog need to be? And I was given advice that, you know, ideally couched 5K, But the beginners runs are, they're stop, start, because the dog has to learn to pull out front, and you have to wait for people because there are people that are a bit slower. So it's very much a social run. So I got back onto Couch 5K. Logan was what they call free running. So he wasn't on the harness at the time, because anybody will know he's a Spaniel and he likes to hunt. So he weaves. So what I wanted to do was go to the group and see that he learned from the other dogs. Don't get me wrong, it was the most anxious thing I've ever done. I do suffer from anxiety. I did worry about it. My partner had to take me and wait for me. But it was the best 5K that I think I've ever done. Gabby, who is one of the leaders at Bournemouth CaniCross, was just so welcoming. She helped me fit Logan into a harness, and I borrowed a belt, and the rest, they say, is history, really. I was just taken, not just with the running, because don't get me wrong, it was the hardest 5K I'd done in a long time, because running with a dog is very different to running on your own, but it was the social side. And I needn't have been as anxious as I was. I got to meet some lovely people, including my neighbour, who I had no idea CaniCrossed, who lived 3 doors down from me. She was there. It was just like, oh, wow. So, yeah.
I can totally like relate to what you're saying about the like non-knowing though, because when I've looked at it, the questions I've sort of had have been the things you're talking about, like what harness would I need to buy? How will I do it? How will my dog pull? I've spent my life telling my Spaniels not to pull. Why will they now pull? So did you find that when you went there, all those things going around in your head, they helped you get over them straight away?
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't have done it with such a knowledgeable and friendly group. They've all started with their dogs, and training a dog, because you are training a dog to CaniCross, it's very different to Gundog training. Like you say, they're actually pulling instead of being told not to pull. But I mean, Logan knows the difference. He absolutely knows when I get his harness out and the belt out, he knows that he's going to pull out front for me. And when I get the slip lead out, oh, I've got to stand by your side now, and I've got to be steady. Okay, I get that kind of look.
But we talk about this in the group all the time, about the dual purpose dog or the multi-purpose dog. And I think that is definitely the way that loads of dogs and loads of people go forward, isn't it? Because you don't want just a dog to do one thing. Like in the old days, they were kept in kennels, they came out, they gun dog work, they went back. They were there to do a job. Now they're part of the family. You're like, well, what shall I do on a Monday? What shall I do on a Saturday? They're involved in every part of our life, aren't they?
Oh, yes. And he is very much my sidekick. Absolutely. But it's interesting because I've got 2 children and my partner has 2 children. The first thing they all ask is, where's Logan? They're not interested in us. They want to know where Logan is.
Yeah, but dogs are part of the family, like to the core, aren't they? Like literally, everything revolves around them. And I think like even like in the UK, I've seen in probably the last year a massive change in pet-friendly coffee shops, pet-friendly restaurants. Everything is like, you can bring your dog in here, you can bring your dog in there, because we are not prepared anymore now to have a life where the dog isn't part of it.
I absolutely agree. I mean, we just bought a pet carrier for the back of my e-bike because we'd like to take him, like you said, out with us. So we live near the New Forest, so we take the cars and we'll put him in the carrier when we're near a road. And when it's safe, he can then run alongside us, and then we can put him back in the carrier. So we've just started that little journey so that he can do that with us as well.
Yeah, I can fully agree. Like with the motorhome stuff, we are literally looking and going, how do we allow the dog to be part of that lifestyle as well? Like literally, the pup we just got, we're constantly thinking, how do we make him a very different dog to the 2 older dogs I've got? Because they are a little bit like, we're just getting dogs. We've never been taught to do anything else. And I'm sure they can be, but with the pup now, we're like, well, let's start out thinking what you can be, as you can hear him in the background. But anyway, so going forward, you started off 5K, fabulous. Most people would be like super impressed. 5K would be like amazing. How did 5K get to 50K?
Good question. I had an ultra on my bucket list. I have a bucket list of things that I'd like to do, and I always had that in mind. Running with the dog is very different. I mean, they do give you the power to go a bit faster, to go a bit further, but then you've also got to look after yourself and them. So they're very much the priority, whatever I do with him. The group started. So the group that I belong to, Bournemouth CaniCross, they do quite a lot of group runs where people will put up 5K, 10K, 15K. And I mean, there's 3 runs this weekend over the Easter weekend. There's one for beginners, there's 15K, and I think there's a 9-10 miler over in the Purbecks. And depending on your ability, you can join whichever group you want. And they always say within the post, you know, what mileage they're going to do and how fast you probably need to be. So you can always pick and choose which one you want to do. And 5K this sounds dreadful. It just became too easy. So I was like, okay, so I'm fitter now, so I need to up to 10K. So we did a lot of races, 10K. And then there were a couple of people in the group that were doing half marathons. So we were like, okay, we'll up and we'll start doing half marathons. And the ultra came about when I was text messaging one of the dearest friends I've got who I've met at the group. She texted me and said, oh, should we do this ultra? And all of a sudden, we're both signed up last October for this ultra, and hey presto, we ended up doing it together in March, and luckily got through winter with both of us not having any injuries and the dogs not having any injuries either.
When you showed me the map, like literally it is my backyard, I was like, oh, that is some doing, because South Wales, nothing is flat.
No.
Nothing is dry. Everything is like boggy and tough going. And that's like just even walking the dogs in some of the places you were. How did you like keep yourself going, like not just physically, but mentally through the training and then through actually doing it?
So Claire and I decided we were not going to put any pressure on ourselves at all. And actually, it's one of the ultras where there's no time limit. So we could have taken 20 hours. Johnny, the race director, probably would have waited for us. So we were, so we knew, and we set ourselves a target of 10 hours. We just pick as random. But we also said, let's treat it like a walk in the park. Let's enjoy it, because we know that the scenery is going to be stunning. We also know it's going to be really difficult. Really fortunate, my family and Claire's husband actually came with us and were part of our crew. And so they met us at every checkpoint with water for the dogs, although there was water en route, food. And I think the second checkpoint, we probably stopped for lunch. We had 15 hours of a bit of a chat. So that's how we went at it. We were like, it doesn't matter if we come in last, first, we just need to get round, enjoy it, and most importantly, get round in one piece with the dogs. We didn't realise there would be stiles that weren't stiles that we had to cross. There would be fallen trees that we would have to navigate safely, and you are tied to the dog and you're not allowed to let the dog off, and how we would get round that as well. We just took our time and really enjoyed it. And you know, that's what got us round.
How did Logan and the other dog, your friend's dog, cope with the ultra?
So they coped amazingly well, actually. We'd spent a lot of time upping their mileage over the preceding months, so we knew they were fit enough to do it. The one lovely thing you see when you see dogs running together or as part of a pack is the natural pack comes out. And Callie, who is the Labrador that we were running with, the dogs, when they're running alongside each other, if one of them is slightly slower, the other one will just come over and slightly nudge and encourage on. And likewise, the other one will do the same if that dog is just not pulling as much as maybe as they should be. And I think not only was the scenery fantastic and actually spending a day with a really good friend of mine, but watching the dogs work and interact was such a joy as well.
That's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Because you see like snippets on like social media of like wolf packs or wild dog packs or any sort of canine pack, and they all work as a team.
Yeah, they did. And you could actually see Callie and Logan doing it. And that was one of the biggest takeaways for me. And interestingly, when we got to checkpoint 3, which was the last checkpoint, we still had, I think, about 10 miles to go. Both dogs, and you see it with the husky dogs, both dogs, they just curled up in a ball quickly because they live in the moment, don't they? So in that moment, they were tired and they knew they need to get quick sleep in before we get up and go again. And then they were fine. And they were encouraging each other up the hills, you know, over the bogs, everything. And it was just, that for me was an incredible joy to watch, actually. And even in the morning before we started the race, you know, we met Claire and Callie there. Oh, the joy that they have for each other. They were all over each other. They were so excited to see each other. It was like they absolutely knew that they were going to spend the day together.
I find like canine psychology behavior fascinating because we have perceived ideas of why they do stuff, but then the more time we spend with them, I sometimes realize what we think they're doing isn't actually what they're doing. You get to know what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah. And we can all learn from dogs, you know, they do live in the moment. And I love that. Just live for today. And it's fab.
Fabulous. So what does like a typical training week look like for you? Because like, I know you don't do like the 50K every weekend, but you must have had to up your fitness to get to the point of thinking, actually, I can go.
Yeah. So, and fitting it in with work and life and everything else. So yeah, I tend to get up and do my shorter runs in the morning. And then really good, I had a really fabulous boss who let me take a longer lunch so I could do a longer run, maybe on a Wednesday, depending on when I could fit it in around work. And then the weekends were the longer runs. So building it up slowly. I do also have a treadmill at home as well. So if it got too busy at work, I could just get on the treadmill for a quick 10K in the evening, something like that. The one thing I wasn't very good at, and I do need to do, is strength training. So I need to do some weights because that will make me a better runner. I just couldn't fit it all in, but I'm determined to start next week properly with weight training, strength training.
It is amazing though, like this morning, for the first time ever, like we walk like 2-3K in the morning with the dogs. And I said to Matt, I'm going to get one of those weighted like vests that you see people in. He's like, okay, you know, whatever. And I only got like £10, what's that, like 4.5K, something like that. And the difference in my walk, I was like, I can feel this. But you're right, don't you? We get used to being able to do something quite easily, carrying our own body weight, not really doing anything different. And then when we stop and do strength training, we're like, oh, okay, my muscles can do a lot more if I ask for a lot more, but I need to start asking for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you think then when you go from like running this mindset, 5K, 10K, whatever you're doing, and then you go, okay, this weekend we're going to go and do Gundog work, is it hard to transition back? Because they're very different disciplines, aren't they?
Yeah. No, because we love both. So don't get me wrong, heel work, which I hate with a vengeance, that we've struggled really with heel and walking to heel, and we still do. And I don't know whether if that's because of the CaniCross or what, but it has that one's a bit of a challenge. But he just loves to retrieve. I know he's a Spaniel, but he prefers to retrieve than and that's because I think he likes to go fast out to the dummy and bring it back fast. So no, we just work between the two, and they're completely different commands. So for CaniCross, I've got different commands because I've had to train him to do that, and also he's had to learn not to hunt when he's attached to me. So usually when you walk a Spaniel, they quarter, don't they? And when we first started CaniCrossing, he did. It used to drive me nuts, absolute nuts. And he used to weave and we never get anywhere. But running with the other dogs, he soon soon got the message that actually I'm doing a job now. I'm running forward, and that's my job today. My mother jokes that he was born to CaniCross, because he seems to have taken to that a lot easier than the Gundog work. But the Gundog work gives him that challenge mentally, which I think is really, really important. He's just as tired after a CaniCross run as he is after doing half an hour, 45 minutes of Gundog work, coupled in with his walk.
I think, though, all Spaniels struggle with heel work, because even when you look at things like working tests and stuff, the walk up does not ask for the perfect heel, because it is a really difficult thing to do. It can be done, yes, without doubt. My father could walk so many of them at the same time. It wasn't true. But even then, they would like, so it was never like, do you know, sometimes you see a Labrador and they just walk beautifully to the side and they just like chilled. I don't think they ever switch off enough to have that like chilled heel.
Well, and I had a Labrador, so I've gone from a Labrador to a Spaniel, not the other way around. So I was used to calm, collected, sit there. Yeah, not, I can't wait to get going, wiggle the tail and off he goes. But I'm a converted Spaniel owner, Joe. I'm not sure I would go back now. I've learned so much about dogs, dog psychology, dog training. As you know, I went to the Weekender last year, which I loved, and I'm booked for this year as well. It's been an absolute joy to learn about him and the way that he works. And because of that, like I said, I was confident enough to put in for our foundation. So we shall see if we pass, but you know, we did it. So that's the main thing.
The great thing is, I think, with our assessments, there is no fail. It's either like you passed or let's try again. Because I think it does ask a lot, even in foundation, of just getting it across the basics. Like even when I did it with Ella, like I did it like you did it. I went through the whole process, but I did it live in one of the Gundog weekends, like with Claire, and I was like, oh my God, she's so gonna judge my dog. and she got through it, but I was like, one of those two things was still a little bit like, it was either going to go right or it was going to go wrong. Because as a Spaniel, sometimes you've seen it, they can give you perfect days for weeks, and then they'll give you that day where they go, sorry, am I meant to know all this? And you're like, so what has like the whole journey, the Gundog work and the ultra stuff and the CaniCross stuff, all taught you about you, about yourself, about your own capabilities?
I can achieve anything if I put my mind to it. I think it's as simple as that. And actually, it's done wonders for my own well-being as well. And it also gives something for me. It is Team Logan. So I am with the dog most of the time, and he's curled up in his basket fast asleep at the moment. But yeah, that's what it's done for me. It's just amazing, really. And I love this dog. I mean, he is a dog of a lifetime. Again, I'm really fortunate to have, I had Charlie, my lab, was a dog of a lifetime. I'm really lucky I've got another dog of a lifetime. Yes, we've had our challenges, don't get me wrong, especially bike drawing, which is when he's attached to the front of the mountain bike. You know, he's got to learn his left and right, otherwise I'm going to end up in hospital. So I've done things I've never thought possible. The same with doing tri-dog, which is, you know, where I had to swim with him as well. I don't like open water swimming. I hate open water swimming. It scares the life out of me. But I did it, and I did it with him.
Because people listening now were like, hold on, we were CaniCrossing. This is something we haven't covered. Because when I saw the photos from now, I was like, wow. So you did a triathlon with the dog?
Yes. So tri-dog happens once a year, every September. It sells out quicker than a Robbie Williams concert. Basically, it's 2 days, and you swim 80 meters with your dog. You then transition into a 2.5 kilometer bike ride, and then you transition into a 2.5 kilometer run. So yes, and it's done over 2 days. First day, and then the second day you come back to try and beat your times from the previous day. And it was
it's amazing though. The photos alone look
Yeah.
insane because he's swimming with you, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And that was my biggest worry. And there is a lovely video. My partner was taking a video of us getting into the water. And as we got in and it didn't go wrong, he went, "Oh, she's going to be all right now." And you can hear him say it because two people came up to me before I came into the water, complete strangers, to ask if I was okay, because I must have looked absolutely petrified. But it's one of the best things I've ever done. Although I did say to Claire the other day, I don't know why I put myself down for TriDog again, because the anxiety is going to start all over again. But I think the bit for me was, and which is why I've come back to this, I didn't camp with everybody last year. So we are now camping with everybody. So we're going to get the whole TriDog experience this week at this time we go. And that's the thing with CaniCross, bike joring, or even TriDog. Some of the things that we do, you go away and you stay with these friends that you've made, and we've camped with them. We camped last, I think it was April, for a Bath race, and did a lot of running with Somerset CaniCross. So you just meet other people.
Isn't it lovely? Like, you got goosebumps listening. We find friends in the most weird places that we never expected. Like, if I look at you guys, look at you, you are all my friends that I found on the internet through dogs. Like, that blows my mind.
And it's the same for the CaniCross community. We've, Bournemouth CaniCross, I've helped somebody out at short notice to look after the dog because they had to go into the office and they didn't have anybody. We've had some people that are injured, so other people are running their dogs to keep the dog's fitness up. And we held a baby shower on the beach for one of our members who should have had her baby by now, but I think it's overdue. So it's a huge community, and it's just amazing. And I feel very privileged to be part of it. To the extent that I'm currently injured at the moment, but I have said that I'm going to do some beginner sessions as well. And I've got a couple of my friends who want to come and try it out. So yeah.
Has Logan ever surprised you with like what he's capable of?
Yes, left and rights on command. I never, and the bike drawing, I didn't think he would be that. So when we're running and we're in a race, and if there's lots of people around him, he doesn't quite like it. He'll look back at me. There's a little bit of, he's a bit unsure. So when you get on a mountain bike with the dog pulling out in front, I thought he's not going to like the bike behind him. But wow, I mean, we're going at 20, 25 kilometers an hour along a track. And he picked that up. He just loves that, absolutely loves it. And then the left and the right, I thought you've got to learn left and right, especially if we're bike journeying. And I can now ask him, and even if we're running in a race, I'll tell somebody, I'll go passing on your left with the dog, and then I'll give him the command to go left, and he'll go left around the person. I never thought we would, but I kind of think we're in tune, if that makes sense. So he sort of, I don't know whether he can feel it or whatever, but he sort of gets it.
So then when you get to Gundog work, you must need to show left for him to go right, because you're facing him then, aren't you?
We haven't got that far yet. It's get out and follow my arm.
Yeah, because otherwise I'll just be totally baffling.
Yeah.
If someone is listening to this and they think, that sounds amazing, but I could never do that, what would you say to them?
Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely you can. There are lots of CaniCross groups across the country. We've had fellow people go on holiday or come on holiday here and join us on one of our runs. They hold beginner classes, and they've got a kit bag, so you don't have to buy the kit. You can borrow the kit. The people will help fit it for you, so you make sure you've got the right harness for the dog. And you just give it a go, and you don't have to run. There is also cani hike, Joe. You can cani hike with your dog. You're just walking with your dog, and they pull you out front, which is great for up the hills, etc. So you don't have to run. You can start off with just hiking, and it's just an amazing experience to do with your dog.
I'm literally listening to you thinking, right, I will find out where the nearest Welsh one is, and I'm away, because I've looked through a load of times and thought, oh, I can't. But listening to you, I'm like, actually, you can try, that you can literally try and go from there. Finally, what does it mean to you, like being part of the LWDG, sharing this journey you've been on the podcast? What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world. I mean, I never used, I mean, this is the third podcast I've done, Joe, and it's kind of like, I'd never thought and dreamt I could ever do anything as brave as speak about myself, but I have. So it's helped me with that as well. But the ladies working a dog group is one of those, it's like CaniCross, it's a community. You know, there are people that I have met, like you said, as friends. I can't wait to go back to the weekend and see people, but you also see people that you've never met really grow and prosper online through the private society Facebook group. I mean, somebody posted the other day about a stop whistle, and she's like, oh my God, the dog stopped. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Look, you know, and they videoed it. And there's another lady with her Spaniels as well, who does it. And you just want to give them a great big hug and just like, you've done so well. Look at how far you've come. And you get to see people grow. And you also get to see people at their worst. We've seen some people that have been really upset, really challenged, and everybody's just wrapped around a virtual hug around them to pick them up and say, you know what, it'll be okay. It's another day. Don't worry about it. I have found that incredible. I mean, I have posted my failures as well as my good times, and the failures, you know, I can laugh about them now. But at the time, I really needed that group because I was absolutely devastated, you know, to the extent when you think, what on earth have I done? What am I doing wrong? But that's what I get from Ladies Working Done. I get that community, that friendship, people all over the country as well. You know, if I go somewhere, I try and look up, is anybody close as well? So to meet up.
I love it for like all the same reasons. And I love the fact that people feel they can share their struggles, and that we live in a world where we try sometimes to not let the world know what's getting us down. And then you come in our group and you're like, actually, it feels more real sometimes than real life, because you see people's struggles and then you see people help them and you think, it just feels like what we all face when we go outside. Like some days with the dogs are amazing, and then other days you're like, why did I do this? Why did I get another one? If anybody wants to like chat to you, you're in the members group, they can just like find you in there, ask you any questions about CaniCross?
Absolutely, yes, of course. And I can point them in, you know, for resources and places that they can, you know, find out more. There is a brilliant podcast that people can listen to that talks all about CaniCross, and there's a couple of books if people are interested. So, yeah, more than happy to help where I can.
And in the members group, we'll share your amazing little video of like you actually doing the elf drag, because I think it's brilliant. And people can see like they listening and know it's an achievement, but they can actually see the mountains you scaled, because you literally were up and down the Welsh mountains all day long. Thank you so much for doing this. It means a massive amount to me that you've come on here and shared the entire process, the entire journey. Where do you go from here now? What's your next big thing?
Well, we've got to train for TriDog again in September. But I think what we're going to work on is getting faster. So we're going to go back to doing our 5, 10Ks and possibly a few half marathons, but actually try beating our times. The thing is, though, I love the longer runs because we can make a day of it. So I'm a bit torn. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think working towards TriDog in itself and going through the certificates is more than a set of goals for this year. To anybody listening, please let me know what you think about this. Send us your feedback, send us what you want us to talk about, anything that you want me to pass on to Sara, I absolutely will. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Sara, for being with us, and we shall speak to you all in 2 weeks' time for our next episode of Found It, Fetched It.